A very happy morning, everyone. Hope you are safe and fine at home. You must be wondering, who is this lady popping up out of nowhere in the middle of her screen and asking about her well-being? So let me introduce myself first. I am Umu Kulsum, a third-year medical student at Thoothukudi Government Medical College. So you must be knowing why I am here right now. Yeah, today we are celebrating Doctors' Day to honor all the doctors who risk their lives while trying to save ours. So, why is Doctors' Day celebrated today? Why is it on July 1? Actually, let me tell you a small story. There was once a man called Dr. B.C. Rai. He founded the Indian Medical Association as well as the Medical Council of India. And his birth and death anniversary is celebrated as Doctors' Day. So when you think of a doctor, the first thing that comes to your mind would be a white coat, a stethoscope, a guy with a spectacle and all that. I bet you imagine a doctor only like that. And the doctors are a group of respected people in the society. So what does it take? What toil does it take to become a doctor? Let me explain you that, because I'm sure most of you would be very eager and very determined, very committed to becoming a doctor that you'll be studying from right now. So what does it take? It takes years of reading, years of practice, and yeah, it comes with another package, tons of stress. Yes, because all other fields are like this. But this is a bit more, because here you are handling lives, you are handling people's lives here. So there is a stress which comes along with it. So how do we become a doctor? Yes, after your basic schooling, you will be in high school, you will be taking groups, right? So you will have to be a student of science stream. You have to take biology or biology computer or maths biology or pure science group in your high school, or to put it in simple words, 11th and 12th standard. You will have to be a science stream student. Then you have to clear NEET as of now. So I'm telling you the protocol now. You'll have to clear NEET. 30 plus medical colleges in the state, but only around 25 are government medical colleges where the fees is relatively low. So you'll have to get into one. Your rank has to be high enough to get into one. So you'll have to clear NEET. That's the first barrier. Then when you get into a college, you'll have to take up 5 years of course, right? And this 5 years will cover 19 subjects. And in the final year, that is the 5th year, you'll have to handle patients. You'll be given patients whom you have to prescribe, you have to ask what they are feeling, you have to treat them and all that. And this basic MBBS education isn't enough for you to become a good doctor or successful doctor, because the competition in the world is slowly increasing. So what do? After MBBS, you take up a PG course, and PG course or the residency course is actually 3 years. So for that you have to crack another entrance examination. It's actually in consideration whether it is next national exit test or NEET, national eligibility cum entrance test for PG. So it is actually in consideration. We don't know for sure what we have to crack for now, but you have to crack any one of these entrance exams to get into PG. So in PG you will have to work hard again and take a specialization. For example, in MBBS you will cover all these 19 subjects, but in PG you will take one of these subjects and specialize in that. You will become an expert in that, and after PG you will be a good doctor. You can prescribe, you can treat people, but if you have to be the best out of that, you will have to take up super specialty. You have to specialize in that particular subject you have chosen, right? So these are the hurdles, or these are the steps you have to encounter to become a doctor, to become a great doctor in fact. I hope I have put everything into simpler terms for you. And to all the budding doctors here, I wish you all the very best. You'll work hard, you'll become tired, you'll again work hard, and that's how you'll become a doctor or any other profession. For you to be best in any profession, for you to be good in anything, you'll have to work hard. You have to be ready to work hard. But in the process of working hard, you shouldn't be compromising your physical as well as mental health, because your health is so important for you. Because only if your health is good, you can do better. You can work hard. If you compromise your health and become great, there is no point in that. So when you work hard, you give some time to yourself. You take some rest. You spend some time for yourself and replenish the energy which you have lost. Okay, and that's what I wanted to tell you. And I'd like to put another note. So I have explained to you how hard it is to become a doctor, and we have all seen the violence against doctors rising too, for no fault of theirs. So I think as the younger generation in the population, you will have to understand all this. You will have to take all this and be good and respectful to doctors, because many of you are going to be a doctor one day. It takes so much work to become one. And yeah, let's be respectful to doctors, to humans, to every other profession here. Yeah. Coming to the cliche topic which everyone is talking about these days. Yeah, how can I, being a doctor, how can I wind up without telling you about the COVID pandemic and its precautions? So let me tell you that first. So what is COVID? COVID is actually a coronavirus disease, and the name itself is self-explanatory. It's a virus, and to add more to that, it is a respiratory virus. It travels through air. So wherever you go, around you air is there. So if the air around you is contaminated with the virus, you are very much likely, or you are sure to get the infection. So how do you prevent yourself from that infection? You have to take proper precautions. You have to wear masks. And I tell you, most of the listeners here are below 18, I believe. I believe some of you are teachers too. And for those of you below 18, for now, you don't have vaccines for you. So you have to, as much as you can, you have to prevent yourself from not getting the disease. So how do you do that? You wear double masks. So I think most of you won't be familiar about what is double masking. That is nothing. I'll put it in simple terms. You wear a cloth mask and you wear a surgical mask over that. Surgical mask is you can get it in any medical shops around you. It costs only around 5 or 10 rupees. You put a cloth, you put a surgical mask over that, and make sure you cover your nose as well as your mouth, because those are the entry points to your respiratory system. So that's how you prevent yourself. This is the first thing. And the next, you always carry a sanitizer with you. You better stay indoors. If by chance you have to go out for any reason, you keep a sanitizer with you, you wear a mask, and you always maintain a distance of 2 meters, because the droplets which are sprayed can stay around around a distance of 2 meters. So if you are longer than that, if you are distant away from that, hopefully you can prevent yourself from the disease, right? So follow all these 3 precautions, and you tell the people in your home too to wear double masks. Now you might get a question, and so many patients have asked us too. I wear a mask, then how do I breathe? See, you breathe in oxygen, you give out carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is formed of 1 carbon atom and 2 oxygen atoms. It is basically 3 atoms, right? You imagine the size of an atom. And oxygen is basically 2 atoms. Oxygen molecule is formed of 2 atoms. But this virus is actually formed of several proteins. And protein by itself is a big molecule which is formed of several atoms. So, comparing the size, the oxygen molecule is smaller than the larger virus. So, when you wear a mask, the oxygen molecule can enter inside, the carbon dioxide molecule can come outside, but the virus cannot enter inside. It is blocked by this cloth. Okay, so that's how you prevent yourself. When people ask you doubts like this, you have to be sure enough to explain them this. And those of you who are turning 18, I believe people who are in the upper grade, like in 12th standard, would be finishing your education, or your siblings might be over 18. You please ask them to put a vaccine. And when the right time comes, when vaccines for you are available, don't hesitate to take that vaccine, because the vaccine is absolutely safe for you. I have taken a vaccine, people around me have taken the vaccine, and our whole college has taken, our doctors have taken. I have insisted so many patients to take the vaccine, and they have taken as well. And what does this vaccine do? What is this vaccine actually? Let me explain that to you. See, the vaccine, let me tell you a small story first. Just think you are living in a very calm street, very peacefully, and one day somebody tells you there is a thief found somewhere here in this guy's house. He might come to your house too, like if somebody is warning you. So what do? You lock all your jewels, you lock your home properly, and you be prepared enough to face the thief. You be prepared enough to attack the thief. You call the police also to catch the thief, right? So in vaccines, what do we do? This coronavirus is a very harmful virus, and there are less harmful or harmless viruses too. So we take a harmless virus which wouldn't kill you. This harmless virus won't kill you, but coronavirus can kill you. So we take this harmless virus, we dress it up like corona. Okay? We just put them we take something from the coronavirus and put it over this harmless virus. So now this virus is dressed up like the coronavirus, and we insert it into your body. We inject it into your body. So your body sees this, it thinks this is a thief and attacks this, and it is prepared, it is alert now, because if one thief comes, other thief might come anytime. So it is alert. So next time when the actual infection comes to your body's immune system or your body's police will be ready to attack it. So you won't have, or you will be ready to block it even on the outside. So the coronavirus, even if it infects you, it can't affect you much. It will give you a milder infection and it will go away, because you are vaccinated. Your body can fight it off, your body can kill it easily. So you won't be harmed much, right? So this is the principle behind vaccines. So you please advise people in your home. If they are not vaccinated, you do advise people in your home to take the vaccination. It is absolutely safe. I have taken it and I am still alive. And we have advised so many people to take it. People who took the vaccines, I have talked to patients. The patients have said, since I took the vaccine, doctor, I didn't get affected by corona much. I got a positive infection, but I wasn't hospitalized. But when I take the list of other patients, those who were not vaccinated were hospitalized. So this is the condition here. So you please do tell everyone in your home to get vaccinated. I'll keep stressing this again and again to you, because you are expecting a third wave, and the third wave is likely to affect children also, and it is found to be more vigorous than the second and first waves. So you guys, please be safe at home. Please wear double masks. Please use sanitizers. Please stay at a distance of 2 meters away from others, and please ask the people in your home to get vaccinated. And when vaccines are available for you, do take them. Regarding your online classes, most of us are always on our phones these days, right from 8 to 4, I believe. So that is also pretty stressful for us. So when you finish a class, you just take a small walk and then come back and attend the next class, because I believe the next class won't be starting immediately. And teachers will also finish a bit early. So you just give a quick run around the house and then come and join again, because that will help you relieve the stress, because spending too much of screen time can be harmful for you too. So follow that. So once again, stay safe and healthy at home. Protect yourself and others from this infection, and be good to everyone. Thank you.
Hi students, I am Dr. Agbin Vinsila. I am doing my internship in Rogers Dental College and Hospital. You all may have questions like why we should brush our teeth daily. Brushing twice daily is a good habit because it helps to remove germs from our mouth and old food particles. If you don't brush daily, the old food particles accumulate between two teeth and which became more favorite place for bacteria to grow because bacteria love sugar and protein which is rich in your food. Then the bacteria started building their new house in your teeth and stay there for a long time and produce some defect in your mouth like tooth decay, gum disease which is painful and cause bleeding from your gum. Bacteria and old food particles produce bad smell. When you talk to your friend, you may notice the bad smell coming from your mouth, or your friend may notice that bad smell coming from your mouth. The next time your friend won't come to talk to you, which reduce your confidence of speaking to someone. So brush your teeth twice daily for at least 2 minutes. Go for regular dental checkup for every 6 months. Stay safe, stay happy. Thank you.